Hello, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know who I am, my name is Shook. I make videos for NBA. All these videos, they get posted on the subreddit. It's called DF Sports. I'll just have a link to it down below. I make updates with all the news that comes out throughout the day. You can ask me questions about the slate. Pretty much anything you need, I'll have this link down below. And if you ever need to get a hold of me privately, you can get a hold of me on Twitter right there. So let's take a look at my lineup from tonight. It's going to be a great night. Just... Mikal Bridges, he played 43 minutes tonight in a smash spot going up against Detroit. Just unbelievable stuff there. If he had a good game, I'd be winning a lot of money tonight. But it's still going to be a great night. And then yesterday, I did end up having a good night as well. I 4x'd, and everyone in Discord just absolutely crushed last night. So really good. Going to be good back-to-back nights. Hopefully, you guys had a good night. My core today was Zach Collins, Anthony Edwards, Dennis Smith Jr. and Kyle Anderson. And then my two flag plants today. I'm going to start doing flag plants in Discord. My two flag plants today were Rudy Gobert and Nicholas Claxton. My two favorite center plays today on the slate. They absolutely smashed. And then I really like Cade Cunningham and I really like Jamal Murray. I was debating on Jamal or Cade. Luckily, I did go the Cade side because I was playing a bunch of Brooklyn guys. I think it made sense to run it back with Cade. So yeah, going to be a great night. Hopefully you guys had a great night. If you're looking for more in-depth content, I'll have my Discord link down below, where I give you guys in-depth videos, cores, showdown cores, night slate videos, night slate cores. We got other stuff coming up. We got Summer League coming up. We got MLB coming up. I'll be doing props for that. We have people that play DFS for MLB. I do CSGO content, esports content. Like I said, we're going to have Summer League coming up, UFL coming up, and then that's going to lead us into NFL. Then NFL is going to lead us into NBA. So it's all year round. So yeah, that'll be linked down below. We never have off days. We might have like 2 weeks off, maybe, until like I think UFL starts, unless MLB starts before NBA ends. I'm not entirely sure. I believe it's like a month out or so, but yeah, got to keep going. Let's get into the slate. So probably one of the best games to target on the slate. Actually, let's go backwards. Let's do the backwards thing. I kind of like going backwards sometimes. So let's do it. All right, Miami and OKC, not a good spot here for both sides. You have a lot of tough matchups here on the slate. You have Orlando, you have New York, you have Minnesota, you have Cleveland, you have the Pelicans. So a lot of games in really bad game environments. But on a 6-game slate, most of the games being shit spots. There's some good plays in these games. Like we have Cat out, we have Cleveland guys out. There's some potentially good plays on New York, so I wouldn't really put too much thought into matchups on this slate. There's going to be good plays in games where the opponents are just playing really bad spots, so I wouldn't put too much weight into it. I already think people overanalyze matchups anyway. Like if I'm going to play someone, I'm just going to play someone. I'm not going to make a decision based off a matchup, right? So especially on this slate, I wouldn't really overanalyze that stuff. So. All right, let's get into it. Miami, OKC, you're going to see me say it a lot. It's a tough matchup here from both sides, but we do have Harrell, we have Love out, we have Josh Richardson now. I do want to see what the minutes were for tonight. I feel like Terry Rozier played 40 minutes tonight. Yeah, 40 minutes for Terry Rozier. Bam Adebayo, 37. Jimmy Butler, 38. I had his over 5.5 assists. He had 5 at half. Amazing. Duncan, 30 minutes. Caleb Martin, 33 off the bench. Jamie, 28 off the bench. So, with that being said, like I said, it's not a good spot here. If you want to go to a Bam, a Butler, or a Rozier, I think that's fine. I don't think any of them stand out to me point per dollar at their price points, but like I said, you're going to have to play plays not in good spots. So I think my favorite here is probably going to be Bam Adebayo. I think he's probably the one in the best spot. OKC, they definitely do struggle with rebounding. So you can see a big Bam game. I think, this is probably... my favorite play on the Miami Heat is going to be Bam Adebayo. I don't mind him in GPP. He's definitely my favorite. Terry Rozier is fine if he's going to continue to play, 40 minutes. His potentials were up last night as well. And one thing to note with Butler is they're running a bit of offense through him, a bit more offense through him. His potentials have been way up of late. So he's stuffing his stat sheet a bit more. He just had a really bad game tonight. So I don't know if I go to anyone off the bench. Jovic has been starting, but it's basically like a spot start. He's not going to play much. I guess it's doable at 3.9K if you need a punt. I don't know if I go to much else here, though. Moving on to the Thunder. So, I think SGA is a good spend up. Looking at the spend ups on the slate, you don't have much, right? I think DeJounte Murray looks really good. I think Ant looks good once again. I think Miles Bridges is one of my favorite plays in the mid-range. You have Jaren Jackson Jr. up against Atlanta, who I'm pretty high on. So if you're spending up all the way up at the top, I think SGA probably is your highest ceiling on the slate. So raw points definitely could matter here. So I think SGA is a good spend up. Chet is 7-4, kind of fine. I like playing Chet more in better spots when he really has a ceiling. I think this is a spot where he could, kind of be mid. But he does have a ceiling, more tournament only play. I'm not going to go out of my way to play any of these guys. Jalen Williams, and I think I'd rather pay up for SGA. Now, Josh Giddey is a guy that minutes have upticked the last 2 games. Now, if you get 30 minutes from Josh Giddey at 5.1, he's going to stand out as one of the better value plays in the slate. I mean, he's going to play low 20s minutes regardless. So I actually think Giddey is firmly in play. I actually think he's solid value at 5.1K. Dort's playable. It just comes down to if he hits his shots or not. Good defender can get you block steals. If no more value opens up, I guess it's okay. I don't know if I go to much else here. Gordon Hayward at 3-3 probably sees high teens minutes. I think I'd rather just play like a Dort. All right, this is one of the better games on the slate. So Atlanta at Memphis, good spot here for Atlanta. Jalen Johnson going to be out. I would assume DeAndre Hunter just moves into the starting lineup. But one guy I do want to mention here that I do like quite a bit. I don't know if the field's going to recognize this, but Jalen Johnson was playing a lot of backup 5, or decent amount of backup 5, I should say. Let's pull up the rotation from when he went down. I actually did not look at that because it was the game prior. Let's see what they did here. So Capella did close the game. And then DeAndre Hunter obviously is going to close. Bay, DeJounte, we know they're going to play a ton. And then Bog, we know is going to play a ton. So I think this is a situation with no Jalen Johnson. We could see a bit more Clint Capella here. So I'm very, very intrigued. I like Clint Capella a decent amount for GPPs. I think with no Johnson getting some backup 5 run, they're going to have to play him a bit more. So I do like Capella there quite a bit. DeJounte Murray, I think, is one of the better spend-ups on the slate. I'm pretty high on him. What else? Bogdan Bogdanovic, we know the drill with him. He's been up, he's been down, but has a ceiling if he's hitting his shots. I think he's solid. And then Saddiq Bey, DeAndre Hunter are going to play a ton of minutes. I do like DeAndre Hunter at 5K. I would assume he moves in the starting lineup. I would expect low to mid 30s minutes, maybe a bit more, unless they dust off like the absolute dust of like Garrison Matthews, these type guys. So I do like DeAndre Hunter there. I'm not going to go to anyone else though. So yeah, Atlanta looks pretty solid here. Moving on to Memphis, I really like Jaren Jackson Jr. up here at the top. Now, Luke Kennard is doubtful. Gigi Jackson is questionable. Goodwin has been inactive for the past few games, so keep an eye on what they do with the starting lineup here with Luke Kennard out. They could move Conchar to the point, or they can move Goodwin back into the starting lineup. If Goodwin does start with no Kennard, I'm pretty high on Goodwin. Jaren Jackson Jr., I really like at 8.2K. He's going to have to absolutely do everything for this team. It's a prime matchup, so I'm really, really high on Jaren. I have a feeling he's going to be popular, so in GPPs, I always like fading a chalky Jaren Jackson Jr., but I really like the spot for him, so I might fold and play him, but I have a feeling he'll be popular. Vince Williams is this close in price to Jaren Jackson Jr. I'd rather just play Jaren Jackson Jr., but he's going to stuff the stat sheet. He's very, very safe at 7K. Santi Aldama at 6K. His rotation and minutes have been a lot more secure of late. Especially if Gigi Jackson's out, he might have to play a ton. I have interest in him. Goodwin, if he starts, I like quite a bit. Laravia's been playing a ton of minutes. He's fine. I think I prefer the others. And then I do like Conchar quite a bit for value with Luke Kennard out. So he should play a lot more. I don't know if we get to much else, though. But there is definitely going to be a decent amount to like here from Memphis. Moving on to Orlando. This is probably one of the grossest teams on the slate, but if Wendell Jr. out, Goga Bitadze is going to shoot up to one of the best value plays on the slate. Mo Wagner, he's going to get a decent bump with Wendell Jr. out as well. He's a better point per minute guy than Goga. He has a ceiling, but Goga's much cheaper. The main guys, they're just there for me, like Paolo, Franz. Don't love the spot, but they're just there. Suggs is priced right. They started Anthony Black last game. Gary Harris was also out that game, so they have a ton of guards. I'm not going to play Anthony Black. I think the main standout for me is Goga Bitadze, assuming Wendell Jr. does remain out here. Moving on to the Knicks. It's all going to depend on Brunson. If Brunson's in, it's mainly just Brunson at the top for me that I think is a good spend up. Outside of that, everyone is just overpriced. If Brunson remains out, though, then yeah, we can get some good plays here. Miles McBride, he's going to play the entire game, has a nice floor, going to stuff the stat sheet. Now, at this price point, might not have you a ceiling to go for like 40 plus, but yeah, he's going to project for like close to 5x, so very, very safe play, assuming Brunson's out. Now, Shake Milton was available. I don't think he played. Yeah, he just did not play. Maybe they could enter him into the rotation. If he does, that will hurt a guy like McBride. He's still even with the team. Yeah, they signed him. Okay, so that can impact some things. If he plays, obviously that's going to hurt like a Miles McBride. Other than that, if Brunson's out, I mean, Josh Hart's going to play 48 minutes. He'd be very, very safe. I'd like him. Dante has a ceiling at 7.8K. He's going to play basically the entire game. I like him. Precious is fine. Probably my least favorite of the grouping. Bojan, I think, is priced right. I don't like much else, though. And just keep an eye on Shake Milton, that type of stuff. Just look on Twitter for quotes about Tom Thibodeau, what they're going to do with the rotation, etc. Sorry. Moving on to Minnesota. Not a good matchup here, but still a good amount to like here. Cat out. So Rudy Gobert, I still like quite a bit, even in this matchup. Just a minutes thing. He's going to play over 40 minutes. Cat is out. It's going to be a big boost to him, so I still like Rudy Gobert. Anthony Edwards, I think, is a really solid spend up. Mike Conley's fine, but I would say priced right. Kyle Anderson at 5.2K. He got a massive foul trouble tonight, but we know historically he's a stat sheet stuffer. About a fantasy point per minute guy. I would expect over 30 minutes from him. I still think he's decent at 5.2K. NAW will see a bump, but he's priced right. McDaniel's just there for me. I don't know if we go to much else. Moving on to Cleveland, so guys are going to remain out here, but one of the worst matchups in the league. But Jared Allen, kind of the same thing with like Rudy Gobert. It's a tough spot for him, but with no Mobley, no Mitchell, he's going to play all the minutes he can handle. It's a huge bump for him, so I still think Allen's a good play. I like him quite a bit. Garland's been way up, way down of late. Maybe it'll keep the ownership down, but I still have interest in him for tournaments. LeVert's going to play over 30 minutes. He has a ceiling. I think he's solid. Okoro's fine. They started Niang last game. They do start Niang again. I actually do think he's a very, very solid value. And then Dean Wade, they did start. He's playable. I do prefer Niang. Merrill, if he comes off the bench, not as much interest. I think I just prefer Niang, and then Okoro's playable. So, yeah, matchup just disgusting. If they were playing any other teams, I would absolutely love both sides of these games, but still really solid, even in those matchups. Moving on to the Pelicans, what you could do if they're popular, since they're in such tough matchups, I guess you could, fade. This game is going to be played at a snail's pace, right? So maybe ownership will kind of depend on what I want to do with that game, but yeah, still a lot of guys out. All right, moving on to the Pelicans. Not much stands out to me. When the main guys are healthy, I have a hard time prioritizing anyone. If you want to go to like an Ingram or a Zion, I think that's okay. Both are going to lead their team in usage. Both are going to play mid-30s minutes. I guess they're both fine. Don't love it, though. Jonas Nance, they're going to split the center position. Neither stand out for me as well. Trey Murphy is just unbelievable of late. I'll let people chase that. No way I'm clicking Trey Murphy at that price. Well, I'll just let people chase that. I don't think I go to much else here, though. Moving on to the Sixers. So last game they did start Paul Reed. Played 24 minutes, he fouled out. This guy, Paul Reed's always in foul trouble, right? But assuming they go with that same starting lineup of Tobias Harris, Buddy Hield, Kyle Lowry is back. So actually, when was the last game Kyle Lowry played? I believe the starting lineup was Kyle Lowry, Campaign. Let me find it. Come on, popcorn machine. I was doing my research and taking forever to load. 305. Let's go to 305. Yeah, Kyle Lowry, Campaign, Tobias Harris, Buddy Hield, and then Batum and Kelly Oubre came off the bench. So Batum started last game for Kyle Lowry. So with that being said, with Kyle Lowry in, I still do like Kyle Lowry at 5.7K. Campaign's still firmly in play, but he's not as good of a play as he once was. But 5.1K definitely probably seems priced right with him with Kyle Lowry back. As far as the other options go, Kelly Oubre at 6.2K, he's still going to play huge minutes off the bench, so I like his ceiling. probably going to be popular. Buddy Hield's fine. I think I prefer Kelly Oubre. And then, I mean, Tobias Harris can't do anything of late, but I do like Tobias Harris quite a bit as a bounce back. He's low owned every single slate. People refuse to click on him with the team to himself. I clicked on him here. He had a bad game. Sharks clicked him here. He had a really, really bad game. He's probably going to be even lower owned tomorrow. I'm probably going to go back, but I still like Tobias Harris quite a bit as a bounce back candidate here. Team to himself. Just go look at his rates. Whatever one's out, he's really bad slump. So I still like Tobias Harris for tournaments. If Paul Reed starts, I think he's a solid option. And then Doughton, not going to play Doughton with Kyle Lowry back. Just not going to do that. I was hoping Kyle Lowry would be out, but it was just rest purposes. All right, probably your best game to target here. I absolutely love this game. Two teams that don't play a ton of defense, two teams that play decently fast. We also have Trey Mann questionable. If Trey Mann is out, I would assume they could do something dumb to start like a Bryce McGowan's. You might see a bit more Nick Smith Jr. Nick Smith has been out of the rotation of late. Maybe he could come back into the rotation, or he was in the G League, I guess. So if Trey Mann's out, I absolutely love Mitchich at 5.3K. He'd have to play big minutes, be the only ball handler, basically, stuff the statue. So I absolutely love Mitchich. Really good play, even if Mann plays, and then I would love him if Mann's out. Miles Bridges, but Brandon Miller, I'm really high on both. Prefer Miles Bridges to Brandon Miller point per dollar, though, but I think they're both really solid plays. Nick Richards at 5.6 is reasonable. She'll play mid-20s minutes, probably my least favorite of the grouping. If Mann plays, he's fine, but I prefer Mitchich. Grant Williams is priced right. I'm not going to go there. Bertans is a fine value. I'm not going to play Bryce McGowan's if he starts. All right, moving on to Washington. Bagley is out. Last game, though, was the starting lineup of Kuzma at the 5. They inserted Kispert, and then Rashawn Holmes played 25 minutes off the bench. But I don't know if that was because Kispert got in a foul trouble or not. Might have been. But with that being said, Rashawn Holmes will be in the rotation. He'll get the backup 5. Probably plays, I would say, at least high teens minutes, which does make him in play at that price point. Good point per minute guy. Kispert, if he starts again, I think it's a very solid value. Cool ball, he's fine, but I honestly prefer Kispert. Jordan Poole, if you want to continue the hot streak with him, I don't mind it at all. He's been a lot better off the bench. Clearly has a ceiling of late, so I don't mind Poole there. And then I'm really high on Kyle Kuzma at 7.8K. Almost as high on him as I am like Miles Bridges, Brandon Miller. I really like Kyle Kuzma, especially when he starts at the 5 once again. Probably my favorite Wizard overall. And then I think Denny and Tyus are solid options. So yeah, this game looks really, really good. Probably going to be one of the most popular games on the slate, but I think it's for good reason, right? So I hope you guys had a great night tonight. I will talk to y'all in the next video. Prize Picks video might be out tonight. We'll see.